Everyone, Road to Retire, the channel where I try to retire early with the help of side hustles. I talk about those, personal finance, investing, and everything in between. So if you're into that, subscribe and follow my journey. We're talking about the tariffs today because if you live in the United States or pretty much any first world country, tariffs from Trump are affecting you. And it's no surprise that the stock market absolutely hates this. As I'm recording this, the stock market this week dipped, I believe, around 10% for the S&P 500. That is a massive dip in just a week's time. So how does this impact my attempt at early retirement? Does it impact that at all? Am I switching anything up because of this? The short answer is no, but it does lead me to a lot of motivation. So if you're someone like me who plans to use dividends or distributions from closed-end funds or covered call ETFs like I do, well then the common mantra is when something goes down dramatically, one of your holdings goes down dramatically that you plan on getting income from, you try to buy even more because that starting yield is higher because the price is down. If the dividend or distribution theoretically remains the same, well, there you go. You instantly got more yield on your purchase. You're essentially buying something for 10% off. But there is a lot of hesitation. There's always the mentality when you have a stock market dip like this, that this time is different. Like something is going to be different than the COVID drop or the Great Recession in 2008 and 9, or like the dot-com bubble, and whatever the case may be that happened in the past that caused a huge bear market and a recession type move. You're always going to have like, well, this time's different. This is tariffs. Tariffs like this have never happened in the past, blah, blah, blah. They have, but not to this extent where Trump is kind of trying to change like the whole global viewpoint of how the United States does global trade with everyone. And I'm not getting political here. I don't care about politics and I never will. But long story short, it impacts you no matter how apolitical you think you can be. Politics will always find you even if you don't want to find them. So it affects all of us, and I am just buying the dip, right? That is a common mentality, but there are people out there who think that this is going to be a complete drastic change for the United States stock market, where you no longer are just going to see exponential growth, like 8% annualized returns year over year. We could see a period of stagnation. And while that may be true, for me personally, that doesn't change my mantra of just heavily investing into the S&P 500 and global markets in my 401k and investing into my cover call ETFs, dividend funds, and other closed-end funds into my personal dividend retirement fund. The mantra doesn't change for me. I honestly feel like there could be stagnation, but that's just an opinion of me. I feel like the stock market, especially in the United States, has been overheated for a couple of years now. High PEs for companies. The NASDAQ was soaring. You have companies like Palantir that are skyrocketing for, honestly, I feel like no reason at all, except for there's a lot of hype behind them. I feel like we're going to get stagnation throughout the rest of this presidency. I don't know if it'll continue on through, because if these tariffs, in 2 or 3 years or whatever, and if these tariffs don't work out and everyone's freaking out, well, you're just going to have a change in regime from the Republicans to Democrats, and they'll just repeal them immediately. So I don't see this as being like a long drawn out thing, but I personally feel like we're going to drop. This is just opinion. I have no idea what's going to happen. Nobody knows what's going to happen in the stock market. If they tell you they do, if anyone tells you that they know what's going to happen in the stock market, they're full of shit. But long story short, my educated, non-educated guess is that we are going to have like another 10% drop, unless he randomly changes his minds and then calls for interest rates cuts and blah, 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 the normal crap that Trump does. But nonetheless, I feel like we're going to get another 10% drop. We're going to get into that recession territory, even though that's not. We're going to get bear market, I guess would be a better terminology, versus recession. And I feel like we're going to kind of stay at that bottom of the 20% from the peak and stay there for the rest of the presidency. I think you're going to see a lot of 2022 action where the market is just flat. And, some people freak out about that. Some people think it's like the next Japan in the 80s and 90s. I don't think it's that way, just because the United States can switch regimes pretty easily and just everything can flip on its head. But I do think we are going to experience stagnation. Nonetheless, all it does is motivate me when these prices for the entire market are going down, it just motivates me to try and do more side hustles and put more money into the market as quickly as I possibly can while it's going down. Buy when others are fearful and be fearful when others are greedy. The famous Warren Buffett quote. I think it's Buffett anyway. But nonetheless, that's my mentality, and it's always going to be my mentality. Always be buying, and that has never been more true today than it has been for the past couple of years. So hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts on the tariffs down below. See everyone in the next one.